Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. الصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. إننا نوى نتعلم والتعليم والتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والدعاء إلى الهدى والضلالة على الخير والحث والتمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسول الله ابتغاء مرضات الله وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praise Him, we gratify Him, and we seek that anything that we do and anything that we say can gratify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a gratification that's worthy of a beneficent bestower of bounties and mercies and favours and blessings. And we ask our Lord, most exalted, the sovereign creator of all things in existence, to send copious and eternal and unlimited blessings and salutations upon our beloved Prophet Sayyiduna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. And we acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we hold this class, and we pay our respects to their elders past and present. قال المؤلف رحمه الله رضي الله عنه وعنكم نفعنا به وبكم. ويبعث على هذا على الصبر العلم بأن الجذع مؤلم في نفسه، وهو مع ذلك مفوت للثواب ومجيب للعقاب، وأن الشكوى إلى من لا يستطيع أن ينفع نفسه ولا أن يكشف عنها ضرا من الحماقة، وهذا صفة كل مخلوق. ومع ذلك فالشكوى دالة على عدم الاكتفاء بالله الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء، وذكر ما في الصبر على المصائب والعاهات والفاقات من الثواب، وأن الله سبحانه وتعالى أعلم بما يصلح له من نفسه. يا الله. وقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى وليبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات إلى قوله سبحانه وتعالى وأولئك هم المهتدون. So he says on page 112, is it not? Yep. 112 with the gentleman on the front, and the other book, the new book. Anyone got a new book? Nope, so we're all on 112 at the bottom. This kind of fortitude is helped by the knowledge that impatience is painful, is painful in itself, in addition to its leading to punishment and a loss of reward. Complaining to one who can neither benefit, we'll continue, neither benefit nor protect his own self is foolish, and such are all creations. Furthermore, to complain is evidence of not finding one's sufficiency in God, in whose hand is the dominion malakutu of all things, and also of omitting to remember those verses which relate to the worth of patient endurance of losses, infirmities and afflictions, and that God the Exalted knows better than a man, or a woman in that case, that which is of most benefit to him or her. He has subhanahu wa ta'ala exalted is He. He has said subhanahu wa ta'ala exalted is He, we shall try you with something of fear, hunger, and diminution of wealth, lives and fruits, and give good tidings to those who have patience, whom when stricken by hardship say, we belong to God, and to Him we shall return. God will send blessings and mercy on them, or upon them. Those are they who are guided. God will give the one who perseveres in this kind of fortitude. وَمَنْ لَزِمَ الصَّبْرَ على هذا الوجه ذوقه الله حلاوة التسليم وروحه بروح الرضا، وسيأتي إن شاء الله سبحانه وتعالى ذكر الرضا فيما بعد. He says God will give the one who perseveres this kind of fortitude to taste the sweetness of surrender and find rest in the serenity of contentment. Rida. He will mention contentment, God willing, in due course. We will mention contentment, God willing, in due course. So, alhamdulillah, Allah. Again, Imam al-Haddad Come and fill the gaps. So Imam al-Haddad again, he defines for us that which we can't define about ourselves. He explains for us that which we don't understand about ourselves. He gives us insight to the deepest crevices and valleys and nooks and crannies of our own souls and minds. Things that even if we were to spend a lifetime trying to explore and trying to understand, we'd have difficulty in understanding. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given Imam al-Haddad from His bounties that knowledge. He's given him Imam al-Haddad, Allah marda anhu, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him, something which is beneficial not only for those who were in his time, but nearly 400 years later in our time, so that we may know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we may be connected to the Prophet of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, so that we may know ourselves to understand ourselves in order to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, just to hear the words of Imam al-Haddad, we've been blessed. It means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us. It means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yarju lana al-khayr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in the gathering of those that inshallah azza wa jal will benefit in this life, and bi-idhnillah there will be with him and with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and with the Siddiqeen on the Day of Judgment and in the hereafter inshallah azza wa jal. And for the hearts that take heed of the words of Imam al-Haddad is status and elevation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and enlightenment and understanding and contentment and satisfaction in this world bi-idhnillah. And for those hearts that are heedless of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and heedless of the words of the Prophet of Allah alayhi salam, and heedless of the guidance of Imam al-Haddad, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open their hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to envelop their hearts in His light and in His illumination, so they may benefit as bi-idhnillah azza wa jal we benefit inshallah azza wa jal, and those before us have benefited bi-idhnillah, and those who come after us inshallah azza wa jal will benefit. So he says, يبعث على هذا الصبر العلم بأن الجذع مؤلم في نفسه. So he's saying that, it's pretty good in English, he says that this kind of fortitude is helped by the knowledge that impatience is painful in itself. Both are painful. Both are painful. Sacrifice in terms of fortitude, of holding on, is painful. Imagine yourself, if you want to have a thought about what fortitude may appear to be like. Imagine yourself walking across a bridge, and the bridge starts to shake, and the bridge starts to break apart, and then the bridge starts to collapse, and you're falling off the bridge and you grab onto a piece of steel, and you're holding there with both hands. Either you're going to hold on until someone comes to help you, or you're going to fall into the river or whatever's down there in the valley where the bridge is crossing over. That's what patience is like. It's hard. It's not easy. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. It takes struggle. And that's what jihad is. That's what it is. And that's what we're here on this earth to do. We're not here to go get our hair done with curlers and tints and different colours and different like from South America or from North Africa, different things in our hair, and we're not here to build our muscles and be bulky and take substances to increase the size of our muscles, and we're not here just to entertain ourselves and waste our lives away by listening to certain things and watching certain things and talking about certain things that are not beneficial for us in this life or the next life. That's not why we're here. We're here to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're here to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're worthy. That's why He created us subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why He created the whole kawn. That's why He created the whole cosmos. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا, to see which one is the best. So if we compare us like, so you get a job at a high-flying firm, and your job is whatever systems analyst. I don't know what a systems analyst does, but as an example, because it's good that I don't know what it does because it hits the example. You're a systems analyst, and all day you're running around making coffee for people and making sure that their water's topped up and, massaging people's shoulders, halal ones of course, and then how long are you going to last in that job? And then your systems are falling apart. then no matter how nice a person you are and how great you are and how much you enjoyed getting coffee and tea and whatever else it is for people that don't drink coffee, herbal tea and whatever else for everyone. Everyone feels great when you're around. It's good. You're such a nice person. Yet you're employed at that job to do something. And you didn't do that thing that you were employed to do. How long are you going to last in that job? Not very long. And in the same similitude, Allah Azza wa Jal, we're not here just to hang out. We're not here just to chill out. We're not here just to cruise. We're not here just to take it easy. We're here to fulfill our mission. We have a mission. Aboriginal people, they always say that. They say to each other, we're on a mission. They have that understanding. The mission, whatever it might be, get milk from the store. Khalas, it's a mission. And even in the 80s when they used to make movies, they used to say, we're on a mission from God. You're on a mission from God. Each and every single human being on this earth is on a mission from God. Whether they understand their mission, first they accept they have a mission. It means to accept Allah. They understand their mission and fulfill it, that's a different story. But every human being has got a mission. And we're like that too. And mission is a big word. When they send something to there's expeditions and there's missions going to other planets and to the bottoms of the ocean. Expedition is outside your normal realm, and the mission is what you do on an everyday basis. That's what we're on. We're on a mission from God. And the more we realize that, the more that's cognitive in our understanding of our daily practices, the more significant our daily practices will be in our lives. If it's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm praying. It's a mission. We've been commissioned by Allah Azza wa Jal to fulfill this mission. Bi-idhnillah Azza wa Jal. And so that's what the Imam's talking about. To fulfill your mission, it's tough. But patience, impatience, and so to be patient is tough. But impatience is even worse. Because what happens when someone's impatient about something? What's their physical characteristics? They're angry, distressed, anxious, agitated, broken down. Right? Overthinking, stressed out. They're impulsive in what they're about to do. They can't even keep a train of thought. They can't even focus on anything. Where's their mission then? If you can't focus on where's your mission gone? It's fallen apart. It's failed. Houston, we have a problem, that's it. Mission's not working properly. Is something going wrong? Because can't. So even though that patience, yeah, it's tough. Who's saying it's easy? What's the reward for patience? Jannah. What's what? And then the Jannatullahi ghaliya. The Jannah of Allah is not expensive. It's ghali. It's the price is high. So patience, of course, is tough, but the reward is that. The reward is, it's mentioned, Allah mentions patience more than 100 times in the Qur'an. And the reward for it is with Allah Azza wa Jal. Yet impatience, being tough, grabbing onto that proverbial piece of steel on the bridge that's collapsed, you're going to let go? I mean, you're going to try as hard as you possibly can, hang there for as long as you possibly can not to. And being patient, holding on to it, and if someone comes to rescue you, or you're able to pull yourself up, that's the reward, the relief. And the sacrifice that one made in that circle, by holding on until their hands go blue, or until their fingers get cut, or whatever the story is. And so that's the choice that an individual has. To choose frustration and desolation internally, desolation, and all the things you mentioned, or and not get anything done, go off one's mission, or to hold on to the bridge, hold on to the rope of Allah Azza wa Jal, and complete one's mission, and reach that state of having accomplished something, reach that state of closeness to Allah, of rida, and the Imam will talk about it. It's painful in itself, in addition to its leading to punishment and the loss of reward. So he says, وَهُوَ مَعَ ذَلِكَ مُفَرِّطٌ لِلثَّوَابِ. So if a person's impatient, why did Allah do this to me? Why did Allah do this to me? Why am I in this situation? All the different things that come along with someone being impatient, swearing, carrying on, accusing other people for their ills or misgivings or misguidings, whatever. Kufr, some people get into kufr. I mean, we probably think that would never happen. But some people, when things don't go their way, they start swearing at Allah. I've seen it. I've been around it. It's pretty nasty. So that's the other side of it. That's the punishment and loss of reward. Punishment is the state that a person feels. And then when if they can't complete their mission, Allah's going to say, come on the day of judgment. That was what I gave you. You had the capacity to do it. I gave you all the criteria and you fulfilled all the conditions in terms of what the gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given an individual to fulfill their mission. So Allah doesn't put a person on a mission but that they can fulfill it in order to elevate that person. So I gave you all the tools you needed and you didn't fulfill it. Complaining to one, and this is the second aspect of it. This is the patience. This is the other aspect. It's not second, we're about fourth or fifth. Then he says, this is what I think we spoke about this as well. We spoke about this previously. He says, complaining to one who can neither benefit nor protect his own self is foolish, and such are all creatures. Therefore, to complain is evidence of not finding one's sufficiency in God. So in other words, if you're going to complain to someone who can make a difference, someone who can assist you, someone who can alleviate that difficulty that you're in, someone who can make things easier for you in whatever way, shape or form that it may be. That's the complaining that you want to do. And then we did speak about this last week or the week before.
I think you mentioned that you said Sahaba used to complain to Allah. They didn't ask, they just to vent or express their emotion.
Right.
And then you said, Allah, you do what you have to do and I'll do what I need to do.
Exactly, which is what? What do we have to do? Sabr. Patience. That's our job. Persevere. Keep going. Remain steadfast. Don't change the path. Don't weaken. In fact, increase. In fact, if you want things to come quicker from Allah, rather than doing less salat, do more salat. Instead of doing less salawat, do more. I'm the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. Instead of doing less sadaqah, do more. And you're showing Ya Allah, that's it. I'm using the asbab al-nabawi as we previously spoke about. The prophetic means to get what you want from Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not a guarantee, but that's the way. That's the cause. That's the cause and effect that Muslims believe in. Not that, I work harder, I get more money. We don't believe in that. That's not a belief that we have. And we've said it many times, that if it was about working hard, then people in Africa and India that work 17, 18 hours a day every day, they'd be the world's wealthiest people. But you don't see that. You see the world's wealthiest people working less than everybody else. Because that's not the cause and effect that we see and that we have. So he says that, we covered that, so there's no need to go into it more than we need to. But basically what he says, that how silly, the word he uses in Arabic is hamaqa. It's more than just foolish, it's idiocy or it's stupidity that a person goes and complains to someone that can't benefit. Why they complain to someone that can't benefit them? What are they trying to achieve? Right? Venting. Isn't that what it is? To feel better. Some people have that problem with the secret. Some people, if you tell them a secret, it's like when you used to watch cartoons when you were young and they used to put the bomb in the safe and the safe would be like about to explode. That's what they feel like. If you can't carry a secret, the person who cannot carry a secret is an extremely weak individual. The person who cannot carry a secret has got personality problems. Because secrets are about power. That's what secrets are, particularly between like husbands and wives and things like that. So someone is blabbing on about this what happens at home and my wife is like that and my husband, that's a sign of weakness, it's not a sign of strength. or their mum's like that, or their dad's like that, or whatever, someone's like that. What's the point? Tell Allah. Tell Allah, and have a time. Have a time in the day or the night, preferably tahajjud, where you wake up and you cry to Allah, you complain to Allah. Say, Allah, this is what's going on. But like I said, the Salihin, the awliya, they didn't ask from Allah Azza wa Jal. I think it was Ali Zayn al-Abidin. He was in the Haram in Makki, and one of the Khalifa saw him there. Like the Khalifa, when he used to come into the Haram, he used to have his guards pushing people out of the way. Whoever's been to the Haram or seen it on whatever, on live feed on TV, whatever. There's a lot of people. It's crowded, especially Hajj time. But when Ali Zayn al-Abidin used to come, if it wasn't his son, Allahu Alim, one of the Imam, when he used to come, people used to move because they knew who he was, out of respect for him and ijlal, it's honor and nobility. People used to move out of the way for him. So he used to go wherever he wanted. Even if he went to the Hajar, they'd move out the way, whatever, the black stone. And the Khalifa freaked out. And then he went up to him, he saw him, and he goes, look, I'm the Khalifa. I'm not sure if it was the Ma'mun, I can't remember which Khalifa it was. And he said, anything that you want, anything that you need, ask me and I'll give you whatever you want. He said, I'm shy to ask you when I'm inside the Haram. I'm in the house of Allah Azza wa Jal, and I'm going to ask a makhluk. He said, fair enough, no worries. So when Imam came out of the Haram, then the Khalifa saw him, waited for him. He came up to him and said, look, I understand that, now we're out of the Haram, anything that you have and anything that you need, just ask me and I'll tell you. Now, I have no haja, I have no need. He said, but okay, I understand when you're inside the Haram, that you didn't ask me because you were there in the house of Allah and you ask Allah. And now you're out of the Haram, why don't you just let me fulfill your needs and necessities. He said, all right, because you ask me, I'll tell you. He said, I've never once asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fulfill my necessities. That's the level that these, not saying that we cry and whinge, we should always cry and whinge to Allah. It's good. So we're not saying, but that's the level that these people are on. That they're venting, we're just telling Allah, Ya Allah, this is what's going on. Don't you tell your friends what's going on with your life? Yeah, like, no offense, sisters, but one sister's in one country, the other one's in the other one. What are you having for dinner today? Like, I find that exciting, how'd you make it? Oh, okay. All right, it's good, it's bonding. I'm with you, I understand, no worries, but relevance-wise, someone's in one country, but what is it? It's sharing. And that creates a bond. How do you think you get a bond with Allah? The same way. Tell Him. Complain to Him. Tell Him what your issue is. And ask Him to solve it. It's okay. We're not for that level, inshallah, one day we will be. But ask Him. Isn't that when you feel upset, you want to speak to your friend? Yeah or no? Of course you do. And then sometimes you don't even know you're upset. You see your friend, and what happens? You say A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. Mac, all the way through. You don't even know you're upset, but when you see him, you feel that connection, and you start saying, oh, this happened, and that happened, and that. First priority should be that, isn't he? Isn't he Al-Wali subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's one of his names. He's our protecting friend. He's our friend. So if we're not telling him, we're not complaining to him, then what kind of a friend is that? Not much of a friend, is it? And then we say, why doesn't my dua get accepted? And then he says, furthermore, to complain is evidence of not finding one's sufficiency in God. That sums that whole thing up. In whose hands is the dominion malakut, and also of omitting to remember those verses which relate to the worth of Allah. He says, and also of omitting to remember those verses which relate to the worth of patient endurance of losses, infirmities and afflictions, and that God the Exalted knows better than a man that which is of most benefit to him. So what he's saying there, it's not as clear in the. So in other words, the complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمَعَ ذَلِكَ الشَّكْوَ دَالَّةٌ عَلَى عَدَمِ الْإِكْتِفَاءِ بِاللَّهِ to anyone else, بِيَدِ الْمُلُكُوتِ وَذِكْرِ ما في الصبر على المصائب والعاهات والفاقات من الثواب وأن الله سبحانه وتعالى أعلم بما يحصل له من نفسه. So he's saying there that the person who is not in that state, the person who doesn't have that patient perseverance on infirmities, in other words sickness, losses, any type of loss that might be of those beloved people to him or her, money, whatever it might be, afflictions, anything, the car accidents, things getting stolen, floods, whatever those it might be, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows better. He knows what's best for us. He knows. How many times you hear people like, I haven't heard it recently, but I used to always hear it when cars used to break down, like, oh, my car broke down, this and that, upset. But what if your car didn't break down, or that light was green instead of red? You may have gotten into a huge car accident, or we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept for us. We don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has saved us from by the affliction that's been sent to us. One time there was a brother, mashallah, big, beefy as they say, brother, and he had heaps of sihr on him, the poor guy. He was covered in sihr and all ayn. He always used to get ayn and things like that. Then one day we were with one of the mashaykh and he came to see him. He was, mashallah, big, strong guy, but unfortunately, he couldn't get much done because there was so much ayn, so much evil eye and so much sihr on him, and things weren't, very good for him. And he was, mashallah, he was a very big, strong, beefy, muscular bloke, tall as well, and mashallah. And then he was telling the sheikh this, that, and then when the sheikh told him what was wrong with him, the sheikh was mukashif, he could see these things. And then he was telling the sheikh, and then the sheikh said to him, he'd been like 10 years or 20 years or some long time when where this problem had been on him. And he was like, I couldn't get married, and I couldn't do these things, and I couldn't even study properly, and I couldn't do all these things, and whatever. And the sheikh said this, la'alla fiya khair. Maybe, possibly, that there's some khair for you. Maybe there's something possible. And then he went off. How can this be khair? How can this be good? He's a good brother, alhamdulillah, but when you hear about these things, it kind of does your head in. It's extraordinary. It's extra sort of events, events that khariq al-'ada, extraordinary events that are outside normal perception. And then he didn't like what the sheikh had said, but he accepted it. And then he came. Then about months and months later, we saw him coming back, and we sat. And he said, I started to think about my life. He said, I started to think that had I had the physical strength, because that sihr and the ayn really takes away from one's physical strength. He said, when I was young, I was real rowdy, and I was real confrontational in the way I used to deal with things, and I didn't really care. He said, so if I had that strength, what would have happened to me? And he was saying he probably would have ended up in jail, or he would have probably shot someone, or someone would have probably shot him, and he just rattled off a whole bunch of things, even sexual escapades when how he was. And then he said, look, Sheikh, I apologise at that time when you told me I couldn't accept it, because it was it was a hard thing to accept. It's an extraordinary occurrence. But he realised that all those pressures that were on him, all those difficulties that he faced in his life had actually saved him. And had he have not gone through that, he would have never found Allah. He would have never found Allah. So we don't know what the difficulties that we face in our life, what they're saving us from, and where they're leading us to. We don't know those things. And that's what he's saying, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows better than a man that which is of most benefit to him. And so, imagine an individual who truly embodies that statement. Truly embodies that statement. Like Ibrahim bin Adham. One time, the awliya, there's always different stories about someone came and he was lying in a whole bunch of leaves so no one could see him. A guy tripped over him, was walking through the leaves, and he tripped over. He goes, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm worshipping Allah. But not to say that we should go and do that, but that's these guys' state. They were fully submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all circumstances. The guy would travel the lands, not with any supplies at all. Zero supplies. Zero supplies, nothing. Like today, if we want to go 2-week holiday, we have to have a 50 kilo bag, And then if we're Lebanese, we have to argue with the people like, come on man, just 1 kilo extra is not going to do nothing. And then we have to have someone waiting for us outside the airport. I don't know if Pakistanis do it, but Lebanese do it as well. But Lebanese are notorious for it, you know. What are they leaving behind? Like a big jar of Vegemite or something. They're taking it overseas. Seriously, you know. And we have to go through all these things and then pay extra money or have someone waiting outside for us, and the sneaky extra bag if we can get someone to take it for us. We're going for a couple of weeks, and what? We got cash, we got everything. These guys didn't have anything, no cash. They just went in the way, but they had full istislam, and they knew that Allah would. What is He going to leave them? I'm not saying that if you go to Lebanon, go naked. Don't do that, you know, wherever you're going to go. But as an example, the difference between us and the people of Allah Azza wa Jal, so we can aspire to that, bi'idhnillah Azza wa Jal. And that's what the Imam talks about next. He says, we shall try you with something of fear, hunger, diminution of wealth, of lives and fruits. So this is fear, whatever it is that a person fears, whether it's, you know, Donald Trump and Muslim ban, or whether it's some sort of anxiety you have of not being able to do a driving test, or whatever fear that a person, khawfin wa ju', and hunger. And for us hunger is wahmi. What's wahmi? Like it's imagined. And they're not going to get hungry in this country. Not hungry. This is basically, you know, you get hungry for a little while, but it's not real hunger. It's not real hunger. We've mostly got issues with food when al-billah. And diminution of wealth. Whoa, that one. Where's the poverty? Some people are poor when al-billah, but the majority of us in this country in particular. But we're still afraid. What if it goes down? What if it goes down from 10 grand to 9 grand in my bank account? That's a problem. Big issue. Better make sure I, you know, earn another extra 2,000. So if it goes down, then at least I'll be 11,000 rather than 10,000. Of lives, so the people around you, dying children, when their parents, when whoever it might be, or even ourselves, and fruits, wa thamarat, and that doesn't really apply to us because we don't grow anything. We just go to wherever it is to buy it, so we don't have that connection. But that's for those people that do. And give good tidings, wa bashir as-sabirin, give tidings, good tidings to those who have patience, and who when stricken by hardship say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What's that? What's that defined as? That's istislam, complete submission. We are from Allah, and to Allah we will return. Simple. That's Ibrahim ibn Adham lying in the leaves until someone tripped over him. That's these people that they embodied that through their lives, through what they did, through how they spoke, through all the different facets and aspects of their lives, or an embodiment and an exemplification of that. God will what? Send blessings and mercy upon them. They are those who are guided. What else do you want? Blessings, both, and mercy. And then Allah, wahumul muhtadin. They're the ones that Allah's guided. In other words, you rely on Allah. You give up your will for the will of Allah, which is what Islam is. But Istislam is constantly doing that. Allah says, don't worry. I'm your what? Atawallak. I'm your wali. I'm your wali. I'm your protecting friend. I'll be there for you. I'll show you the way. I'll help you out. I'll guide you to what you need and what's beneficial for you, because you don't really know what's beneficial for you. Because we think we know what's beneficial for us, but we don't. Because when I was young, the food pyramid, at the bottom of it, in other words, the most thing that you eat should be what? When I was young, carbohydrates. It's bread. Eat bread. That's what it was. Eat bread. You know about these things. Eat bread. As much bread as you can eat, and eat less, nothing. At the top little pin was fats. And then the sugars was all in the middle somewhere, and fruits and veggies was in the middle. But now it's almost the other way around. The top head is refined carbohydrates, and the most is fruit and vegetables, green things. Even fruits is not that much because there's so much fructose and sugar, and because our lifestyle is sedentary lifestyle, we don't move that much. It's not going to help us having fruit. It's going to turn into sugar. Yes? Yep. Yeah. All right. So we've got a dietitian on studying, so the dietitians know about these things, alhamdulillah. Right. So it's switched over. It's switched over. So how do we know what's best for us? And then in 5 years, what? Maybe they're going to tell us something else. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Yet if we follow and then what do they used to say? You know, like Ramadan, you're fasting. Yeah, you're going to die. People used to say that to us. I remember people used to say it to us all the time. You don't even drink, you're going to die. How can you do that? Now we've got intermittent fasting and the doctors are all saying it. So what? It's all done. They don't know. They don't know what's good for them. We don't know, except if we follow the divine revelation, because Allah created us, He knows what's good for us. It says, God will give the ones who persevere in this kind of fortitude to taste the sweetness of surrender. Ya Allah. Sweetness of surrender. Why do you think there's a sweetness in surrender?
Because you're not like stressed anymore.
Right? There's no Allahumma salli wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad, resistance. Right? You're not resisting anything anymore.
You've submitted yourself to Allah.
Right? Isn't that what they say? I don't know who said it, the path of least resistance. I don't know if it's Bruce Lee or someone. Who said that? There's a famous somebody or other said it. That's what it is. It's the path of no resistance, really. And of course the person's going to taste the sweetness, because whatever happens, happens. We say go with the flow, but that's not really what it is. It's go with Allah's flow, if you want to use that comparison. Go with Allah's flow. Wherever Allah flows you, flow that way. And why would you be stressed? Why would you be anxious? Why would you overthink things? What's the necessity to do that? There's none. Why? Because whatever Allah sends, I've already accepted. I'm ready to accept. Sami'na wa ata'na. Bit of a hard one, huh? And find rest in the serenity of contentment. Birawh al-rida. Contentment what? That Allah is pleased with that person, radiyallahu anhum. What other one? The Sahaba, that they used to talk about that. Ya Allah, I'm pleased with you. Are you pleased with me? Ya Allah, I'm pleased with you. Which is what? Istislam. It's the only way it can happen. Which is giving up what we think for what Allah knows. And then he says, Inshallah, fima ba'd, in the future, he's gonna recount or mention contentment, God willing, in due course. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.